It's been 7 months since I uploaded a devlog of my game, The Void Project, which you can wishlist on Steam by the way. And since the last devlog, we have made a whole lot of progress in the game. We are almost 1 year into the development of The Void Project, and I'm really glad to say that we are very close to releasing it. Now, if you haven't watched the first devlog of this game and don't know what I'm talking about, then let me tell you a bit about the game. So The Void Project is a retro arcade-ish arena shooter game being developed in the Godot game engine by me and a friend of mine. It's inspired by some of the coolest games of the past like Devil Daggers, Ultra Kill and Doom. When I made the last video, we were at the playtest phase of the game and we got tons of feedback from players who tried the game. And we have overhauled the entire game using that feedback and some of our own. And in this video, I'm going to go over all of the changes that we have made since the last devlog, which is a lot of changes, so go grab some popcorn and let's get started. First, let's talk about some of the big changes that we made, which impacted the gameplay a lot. In the playtest version, the movement was actually pretty good, but we wanted to take it to the next level and we created the entire movement almost from scratch. I mean, my friend did, but our movement. The movement has been completely overhauled and it feels much natural and good now. Previously, we were using projectile-based shooting, which had its own pros and cons, but mainly we were having some collision problems as the shooting was really fast and sometimes collisions were not being detected. So to fix that, we changed the shooting method to raycast-based shooting, which is a lot more faster in terms of performance as well as functionality. The shooting feels fast now and is really responsive as well, and no collision issues now. In the playtest version, we had planned more enemy types than just spider and dynamite, but we couldn't add them at that time. So to add more challenge for the player, we created 3 new enemies: Slime, Skulls and Tomb, and Hellhound. Slime is a very simple yet poisonous enemy. It moves to random positions on the map and it leaves a poisonous trail. If the player steps on it, he gets damaged. And once the slime dies, it leaves a poisonous puddle as well. So you might want to keep your feet away from one of those. The next enemy type we added was Skull and Tomb. The behavior of skulls is similar to that of skulls in Devil Daggers. They fly around and try to catch and kill you. And the tomb acts as the spawner for the skulls. Basically, the main thing is the tomb. When a tomb is spawned, it spawns a bunch of skulls from it and they'll keep spawning as long as the tomb exists. The tomb needs to be destroyed to stop the skulls from spawning again. Wow. That was a lot of spawning. Then lastly, we added a mini-boss. It wasn't planned to be a mini-boss, but it was too cool looking to not be a mini-boss. I'm not gonna tell much about this one as it's really a special enemy. Definitely not because we are still working on its behavior to make it better. Even though the previous interface for the game wasn't really bad, but my friend improved it further by changing the entire design. He changed the color scheme with more contrast and saturation and changed the blocky design to a more roundish one to sort of give an old retro feel to it. Before, we were using temporary models for the guns, but for the demo version, my friend created new models for the weapons, one for the twins, which is the main weapon, and one for the chronoburst, which is the secondary weapon. One of the most given feedback in the playtest version was that the visor was too big or it's taking a lot of screen space etc. And we also felt the same, so we changed the HUD design and made it look a lot better. This is the old visor design and this is what we currently have. The current one looks a lot cleaner, better, and it actually fits as well. Another thing the playtest version was lacking was some cool visual effects. We had some, but they were not that good. So we created a lot of effects for different enemies like dynamite exploding and spider webbing the player etc. We improved a lot of effects and now we can say that the visual effects in the game are much better than before. Along with effects, we also improved the animations for player, for enemies, and actually the entire game animations. They are a lot better than what we had and we both are actually quite happy with them. Another thing that was most requested after the playtest version was a tutorial, because apparently people couldn't figure out that they have a secondary weapon. I mean, it makes sense, I guess. So we have created a tutorial scene now where we told everything the player needs to know about the game and he can learn more through the terminal in the lab. Talking about lab, in the playtest version, the lab was big and it required the player to move a lot to start the game. So we fixed that problem because now the lab scene is just the player with a computer in front. The player can access the computer to get into the main arena or know more about the game. And one last big thing that we did was to add localization in the game. For now, we are just going for 4 languages: English, Russian, German and Urdu. These 4 are all translated by me using Google Translate and researching some dictionaries etc. So it might not be perfect, but well, nothing's perfect in this world. And here is a list of other changes that we did. I'm just quickly gonna go over them as the video already became too long. We changed the color palette of the game. Before it was this dark purplish color and we changed it to more of a dark and blackish theme. We also added leaderboard in the game so the players can try and top the leaderboard for some challenge. We also added tons of achievements. We are planning for 40, but let's see how many we can actually do. We also created a new arena design. It's like an empty dome-like structure. We actually made it very flat so it's easier to find enemies and not get distracted by the map itself. And we also added a little customization option to change the look of the game. You can change the colors of the game and the pattern of the dithering according to what you like. In demo, we have 5 or 6 palettes and 4 to 5 patterns, but we'll add more in the full game along with the option to add custom palettes and patterns. And that covers almost all of the changes that we have made since the last devlog. There were a lot of changes, so I might have missed some, but we are really glad that after all this hard work, we are finally releasing the game. We are really close and I'm feeling really excited about this. It's our first game and we have put our heart into this, and we really hope that people are also going to love this. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to wishlist the game on Steam and also try out the demo in the Steam Next Fest to get a taste of what's gonna be in the main game and what you can expect from this game. And if you like my videos and want to support me and this channel, you can buy me a coffee. Also, go ahead and join my Discord server. It's feeling pretty empty there. Anyways, I'll see you in another cool video. Bye bye.